What's up everyone, welcome back to another Roblox scripting video. In this video we're going to be looking at a brand new feature, attributes in Roblox Studio. Basically allows you to have custom properties. So we have properties for objects, which we select in the Explorer here. We see we have all of these different properties. But what if we wanted to make our own property? For example, if we had a gun and we wanted to specify the amount of damage that it could do, and different guns could have different damage, etc., you'd have to insert values. So for example, let's insert an int value, call it damage, right? And we'd have to set it to a value to give an object a specific damage property, but it's a value. Well, gone are the days of having to use values to do this, because now we can actually set our own custom properties by using attributes. Okay, so let me insert a part here to show you. So I insert the part, and let's say we have two different parts, right? And we want to damage the player when they step on one of these parts. So what we can do is we can actually set an attribute to specify the amount of damage we want to do each time a player steps on this part. So to do this, you need to open up the Properties tab. So go to View, Properties, scroll down, and you can see there's this new section called Attributes, and it says no attribute has been added yet. So if you click on the Add Attribute, this little pop-up appears, and you can give your attribute a name. So I'm going to call it Damage, and it's going to be a number. So you can pick all these different types of data, so a string, a boolean, a number, brick color, etc. So number, and we click Save. And now we've got our own damage attribute, so you can see it looks just like a property. So what we can do is we can set this to 30, and so whenever someone steps on this part, they're going to be dealt 30 damage. Now I'm going to create a script which will detect when you step on this part, and then I'll show you how to access that attribute from a script. Okay, so I've set up a script which is going to detect when the player steps on the brick, and then we just check to make sure they are a player in the game. They're not like a brick that's just lying around, checking that they're an actual player. And we also have a debounce to make sure that it doesn't damage you hundreds of times, because you've got different body parts that always are touching the brick, so it's got a cooldown. Now, this line of code is where we take the damage, so where we injure the player and we reduce their health. So what we can do is we can actually take damage, and inside these brackets we can write the amount of damage we want to do, and we can get that number from the part's new attribute called damage. So let's say script.parent : get attribute, and then in brackets or parentheses we're going to list the name of the attribute that we want to get. So in this case, damage. So write in damage, and this is going to look up the attribute in the part if there is one. So it's called damage, it's set to 30, so it's going to return 30 here. So it's going to damage the player by 30. So if we go and test this out, let's just add this change to the other script that I've got here. There we go. Now let's go and test this out. I'm going to set the second part's attribute called damage, and I'm going to set that to 60. Now let's test this. Now you've probably noticed why we didn't say dot damage, and that's because it's not a property, it's an attribute. And because, for example, you might have an attribute which is named the same thing as a property, we wouldn't want the script to get confused. So that's why we say get attribute with this colon here. So let's step on the part, and you can see it's damaged us by 30 here. Now let's step on this part, and this should kill us because it's going to damage us by 60, and we haven't got more than 60 health remaining. So there we go. So you can see it's looked up the damage attribute, and it's just taken 60 damage or 30 damage to our character, depending on which brick you stepped on. So that's an example of how you can use attributes. Really, really useful. You won't have to keep using values or variables for, the amount of damage that you need to do for certain parts. There's loads of other use cases for this. You don't have to just use it for damage. You can do things such as the amount of, XP or coins that you might get if you have a certain backpack or clicker enabled. If you had a simulator, for example, you got loads of different backpacks or tools that you can use. You can have attributes for each specific model. That's really useful. And it's not just parts. You can have any object can take attributes. So base plate here, the camera, the terrain, you can literally have an attribute for anything. So loads of things to play around with. Now I'm just going to show you a couple more things that you can do with attributes. And first thing I'm going to show you is how you can detect when an attribute has changed. So we can detect when the attribute damage gets changed. So we could say script.parent, and let's just type in attributes here. Now we can see we've got get attribute. We've also got get attribute changed signal. Now this is an event which will fire whenever a specific attribute, its value changes. So for example, if we had damage here, we could say :connect function. Okay, and we could print the value of the attribute damage has changed. Okay, you can actually detect when it changes, and if you wanted to get the name, well, you obviously know it, and if you want to get the new value, you could just say script.parent get attribute damage, and that would give you the new value. But it's similar to the changed event for the get property change signal, where if a property changes, it will fire this function. So whenever the attribute changes for a specific attribute here, then it will fire this event. There's also another event called attribute changed, and what this does is it just scans for any attribute regardless of a specific one. If any attribute of an object changes, then obviously we specify the object which we want to check for changes. So if any attribute of this part changes, it could be can be damaged, it could be damage, whatever, it's going to fire this function. And we also have the parameter of the attribute name, so we'll be able to find out which attribute changed, and it will print out that the attribute name has changed. Now you could do a if statement to make sure if the attribute name is a certain attribute, then you can do something. But most of the time, if you just want to check for an individual attribute changing, you should just use the get attribute changed signal, which we looked at earlier. But you can see if I change these, it's saying can be damaged has changed, damage has changed, etc. So that's doing it. It's checking for all of the attributes of the part. Now, when you're creating attributes or using the set attributes function, you have to abide by these limits of what you have to call your attribute. So it has to use alphanumeric characters and underscores. You can't have spaces in your attribute name. It has to be under 100 characters, and you can't start them off with RBX. So you couldn't call your attribute RBX. See, you can't do that because that's actually used by Roblox core scripts, and we can't interfere with that. Okay, you can't have spaces. Look, hello there, illegal characters. So that's just something to be aware of. Now, one other thing that you can do with attributes is you can get all of the attributes related to a part, and you can print their names and their values. You might not want to print them, but you can loop through them with a for loop. So if we use an in pairs loop here, and we're looping through by saying script.parent : get attributes, that will return a dictionary of the attributes of a object. So in this case, I've got 3 attributes on this part called can be damaged, damage, and health. And by saying script.parent : get attributes, it's going to return a dictionary, which would look something like this. So can be damaged equals false, damage equals 30, and health equals 150, right? So it is based on keys and values. So this is the key, this is the value. So we can loop through this table, which is returned from this get attributes call, and we have the attribute name and the attribute value. So you could print out the name of the attribute and its value, or you could do something else. For example, you could, I don't know, you might want to get all of the attributes for some reason, but I'm just showing you that's what you can do by saying get attributes. And if we just print this, run this script, you will see it prints out health 150, can be damaged true, and damage 30. So that is the get attributes function. The last thing I want to show you is how to set an attribute, how to update it, and you can do that by saying script.parent. You get the part or the object which has the attribute, and you say set attribute. You give the name of the attribute, so damage, and then you set the new value. So I'm going to set it to 4320. Let's run the script, and here it is. It's set to 4320. So that was a quick tutorial on how to use attributes. They're very new. They literally only came out yesterday, and there's going to be so many use cases that you can do with them. So check them out. I'll leave a link to the dev forum post in the description, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.